Of the 16 Business World surveyed, 10 said the Bangko Sentral will keep rates on hold. The remaining 6 think otherwise. Let's check in on one of them, Ruben Carlo Asuncion, the chief economist at UnionBank, the one you see encircled on that screen. Good seeing you again. Carlo, welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Kathy.
All right, so what makes you think a 25 bips cut will come later today?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk of sentiment, but we have to really look at the numbers very well. In our nowcast for third quarter GDP, it's we yielded a range of 4 to 4.8% for third quarter. And that's preliminary. I have to stress that. No, so but we think it was coming from the fact that there were two-digit declines both in July and August for NG disbursements. NG disbursements, those are coming from line agencies. We believe that that's where also infrastructure spending is included. And if you're going to look at it from the second quarter, it's about 1.3% growth. So a two-digit that could really weigh on fiscal spending for third quarter. So we're really looking at that, and that might be a factor that the BSP will look at. Aside from the fact that we have inflation coming in at lower than expected. I think the market was expecting 1.9. We were expecting 2. So at 1.7, at 1.7 average so far, I think those are two compelling reasons for you to cut. But why wait?
Yeah, there's the unemployment rate as well. I mean, the Business World survey that we just showed took place before those inflation results came out. As you say, it's faster than the previous month, but still below the Bangko Sentral's target range of between 2 and 4%. But then there is the unemployment rate that also fell and eased to 3.9%. So what do you think would be the compelling reason to cut still, despite these good results, apart from what you mentioned?
Yeah, well, I think for the unemployment, yes, it eased a bit if you're going to compare it with July. But of course, you're comparing oranges to apples, as even the undersecretary said. No, so you have to compare that with a year ago at 4. It's still a slight decline, but it's not. I would say it's not a compelling reason for you to look at and say that let's just stay and not move. But yeah, of course it's still them. It's still their choice. But we think that there is really an opening for the BSP to cut now, rather than waiting for December.
If Mark Angeles were to have his way, I had him on the show yesterday. He said that I'd rather you wait, because third quarter GDP figures are out November 7th, and that could be a compelling enough data for the Monetary Board to wait on before making a move again.
Yeah, they can wait for official numbers, but I'm sure they do have their own measures. Looking at I know that they have their own nowcast figures, and looking at where the GDP is actually coming into. So, well, for us, that's one of the reasons why we think that we should cut already. So we're looking at the potential downside to third quarter GDP.
If you were looking at a potential downside for GDP, then why didn't you cut your GDP forecast? As I understand, it's still at 5.5% this year and 5.7% next year, despite the widening corruption scandal.
Yeah, we were actually ahead of everyone. We were already at sub 6 even before, I think, at the start of the year. No, so I think we felt that it's not yet. We're just waiting as well for the official data to come out and see where we go from there.
There's another data point. The governor himself confirmed this when I spoke to him 2 weeks ago. Eli Remolona said that he was looking at output. He was monitoring that, and out came the numbers, and it came below 50. That signaled a contraction for the first time since March. So how much weight do you think that might carry as they meet today?
Yeah, well, that's another reason to look into. That's, I think, 49.9. That's
That's correct.
already a contraction area for manufacturing. So that's something that you really have to consider as well, aside from the fiscal spending challenges that third quarter has been facing.
Yeah, but when I spoke to him, the peso hadn't fallen yet to 58. Now it has, but bounced back, pulling back from an 8-month weakness versus the dollar this week. With the peso at 58, do you think that that peso weakness would weigh heavily in the Monetary Board's decision today?
Well, I haven't heard of any intervention lately, no, at least none that I know of. So I think they're quite comfortable with having it at 58, 57.50 to 58.30 at that. No, so I think they're. I mean, by just reading it, I think they're very comfortable with it at this point.
Okay, just as a final point, if they don't make a move today, how is that going to change all your forecasts?
Yeah, we'll still wait and see. No, I think the third quarter GDP is very important at this point. So, yeah, that's where we are.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us in the final few hours before the decision is made. Ruben Carlo Asuncion of UnionBank.